as well. So one of the things that I do as a little ritual every week is I pick a little card for a bit of inspiration. And the one that I picked this morning was called receptivity. And it made me think about, particularly during this time where I've noticed myself get a little armored and get in fear mode at times, just that invitation to explore this ability to soften and to be more open um, to notice the tension when it arises. And I just love it as a reminder. I feel like I like to get things done in my life, and sometimes in that process there can be a hardening from overdoing. So we're going to play a little bit with that in our practice. So even as we flow, as we engage, opportunity to see where are the places in each posture where you can actually soften a little bit and receive the offering of your breath, of the movement and shape that you're the movement that you're in, or the shape that you're sustaining, and see how that goes. So take a comfortable seat, and if you have props, something to sit on, or something that resembles blocks, you can use that as well. You can sit in the cross-legged seat, or there's always the option if you have books or blocks for what's called diamond seat. So using the blocks back behind in between the inner arches to create a little bit of a different experience for your spine and knees. Make any little fidgets or movements through your shoulders, neck, head, mouth, and jaw. And gradually settle into the support of your own space. Relax your eyelids. Invite length through your whole spine. And soften through your tongue, your teeth, even the temples, the forehead, letting go of any holding. And take a few moments here to land whatever has already been happening for you this morning, allowing that to recede into the background. An opportunity to be here in this time that you've carved out for your practice. Gradually, with focus and intention, start to engage your breath. Deepen through your inhale. And take your time as you mindfully exhale. And continue this expansive diaphragmatic breath pattern. If you're familiar with Ujjayi or Ujjayi Pranayam, the ocean sounding breath, feel free to contract back of the throat lightly, adding the soft hum as a way to warm the body and have a focal point for the mind's attention. And as you stay with the breath and bring it in as your foundation for practice, take inventory of what's happening in your mind, your emotional state, and simply welcome whatever is there, holding space. And stay with the breath. Gradually bring hands to heart center, palms touch. And take a moment to set intention, focus, direction for your practice this morning. And it might be around this idea of receptivity, softening, opening, if that resonates with you. So is there somewhere in your life where you've hardened too much and it's actually blocking something to come your way? And to acknowledge this, each other's company in the space, or any other intention that works for you if that one doesn't. Gently bow your head to your own heart. Release your palms. Take on some light with your eyes. Stay with the breath as you remove any of your seated props to the side of your space. Adjust in your own body, coming forward, tabletop, hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. You can always go wider than this. With the inhale, expand tailbone back, collarbones brought forward for cow stretch. Exhale to coil in, round, chin to sternum, cat stretch. Flow with your rhythm and breath here, undulating your spine. If your knees are sensitive, double up your mat or use your blanket for added support. Final cycle here with the inhale to expand cow stretch. With the exhale, return your low back to a neutral place. Inhale to draw your right leg back behind you for length. Stay right there, or for a little bit more fire, sweep the left fingertips out in front. Take one more inhale here. With the exhale, take your right hand to the, or left hand rather, to the back of your head, opening the elbow towards the left side. One more deep breath here. Exhale to release, hand and knee down to the ground. Inhale, take both of your hands to your thighs, rise up, kneeling position, sweep the arms all the way skyward. With the exhalation, lean over to the right side, one hand to hip, top arm up and over. Inhale back through center. Exhale, opposite side, or same side. Inhale back through center. Exhale, same side, arcing to the right. Inhale through middle. Exhale, arc one more time to the right side. Inhale back up through center, both arms high. Exhale, release. Hands land back down to the earth tabletop. In breath to float, your left leg back behind you. Hip height here, activate through your calf, your quad. Stay right there, or for a little bit more, balance challenge, right arm floats out in front. Continue to cultivate the depth of your breath. One more inhale. With the exhale, take your right palm to the back of your head, lifting up through the armpit, elbow presses out. Inhale, breath. Exhale to release, hand and knee down to the ground. Take a moment. With an in-breath, hands rise to your thighs, expand back up, kneeling position. Exhale, lean left, hand to hip, top arm up and over. Move with your breath and rhythm here a few rounds. Final cycle here. With your in-breath, both arms lift upwards. Exhale, release. Both hands land down onto your mat table top position. Step your knees just a tad behind of your hips. Fire up through your finger pads, curl your toes. With inhale, lift, hips towards the back wall. Head in between your arms for downward dog. Bend one knee at a time, pedal out, walk out. Make any little movements here. Open through your mouth, your jaw. Head and neck heavy. From here, take a few rounds of breath to settle into your posture, coming into a little pause. If your low back rounds, bend your knees as much as you need. Keep the thighs pressing back. Fingertips tug slightly forward towards the front edge of your space. So here in down dog, super engaged posture. Whole body is activating, back body receiving a stretch. See if you can find one place to relax a little bit more, so you can actually receive the offering of the posture. One more inhale here. With your exhalation, find your way to the front edge of your mat. Few steps forward, bend. Feet hip distance or so, knees bend as much as you need. Inhale to lift and lengthen part way up. It's a little L shape, spine super long. Exhale to fold back down, neck heavy as you bow. Inhale again, lengthen halfway up, little L shape. This time with the exhalation, fold down to the earth. Take your left hand either at middle, center, or use your prop here, block, book, or even cushion can work. Bend your left knee just a little bit. With the inhale, sweep and open your ribs to the right side. Twist. Exhale to fold back down to the ground. Switch right hand to center, little bend in the right knee. Inhale to open, rotate your ribs, left side. Exhale to fold. A few more cycles here. Twist side to side from the forward bend. And play with the range of motion of your own body here. One more cycle each side. And next time as you even out, forward fold, pause there for a moment. Inhale to lift and lengthen, partway rise, long spine. Exhale, fold back down to the earth. Take a moment, this time step back right into high plank pose, top of a push-up. Level out your whole body, one line. If you're a little bit too heated here, lower your knees for support. Otherwise, it's a very little scoop in the tail to tone the low belly. Lift the upper shoulders towards the sky, so a little dome of the upper back. One more inhale. Exhale, either knees support or bend your elbows right from here. Descend all the way down onto your mat. Keep the legs hip distance, uncurl your toes, thumbs in line with your breastbone. Inhale to tug forward, lengthen first, then add the height for cobra pose. Mindful of the low spine. Exhale to fold. So less about height, more about length. If you feel any crank on your low back, probably means that you've gone a little bit too high. Keep the legs anchored down towards the ground. A few more times to go up and down with the pose, with the breath. You can stay in this up and down motion, or next cycle when you lift up, pause and sustain here for even more fire. Elevate your palms off of the ground, hover a few cycles. Stay with the breath. Exhale to lower back down. Curl your toes under. Two options, either tabletop or lift your knees. Inhale for reverse high plank. Exhale, press back into downward facing dog pose. Inhale, deep breath. With exhale, step up, front edge of your mat, forward fold. Take your time to arrive here. Inhale to elongate, halfway rise. Exhale, bend your knees. Shift the weight back behind, inner leg strong. Inhale to rise all the way to standing. Circle sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, pull down, hands to heart center. From here, interlace the fingers. Index finger to sky, thumb back. Inhale to lift, palm back up to the sky. Exhale, lean over to the right side, standing half moon. Pause and sustain here. If your shoulders are really unhappy, take the hands to opposite elbows, create a little box. Inhale to lift back through center. Exhale, arc to the left side. Right foot anchors, lots of length. Inhale to rise back up through middle, palms flatten out. Exhale, hinge, fold forward, right into forward bend. Inhale to lengthen halfway up. With the exhalation, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind, side body full of length, hands to heart space for chair pose. You can always back off the bend of your knees if this is too intense. Inner legs stay active as if you were hugging a block here. One more inhale. Exhale, hinge forward, forward, fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen, halfway up. Exhale, bow back down to the ground, step back, high plank pose, top of a push-up. With the exhalation, remember knees can support, lower all the way onto your belly, uncurl your toes. Legs heavy, inhale, pull forward, then up, cobra. Exhale to bow back down to the ground. Curl your toes under, tabletop, or lift your knees. Inhale right into reverse plank. Exhale, press back, downward dog, hips high. Honoring your own rhythm and pace here. With your in breath, pause in down dog, extend your right leg high to the sky. Exhale, step your right foot through in between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground. Feel free to double up your mat here for more knee support. Back toes curled or uncurled. Inhale to lift up, hip square, arms to the sky. With exhale, hands fold down to your heart space. Inhale to lift, arms rise back up. Exhale, fold forward, hinge, frame your front foot here. Plant your left hand to the ground. Inhale, elevate, back knee high, spin, twist. Right arm extends to the ceiling. Check in with your neck. You can look down, center, or up. Deep breaths. Deep breath here. Exhale to lower, hand to the earth, step back right into high plank pose, reset, take a deep breath. Listen carefully here. With exhale, lower just to low push-up, knees can always support. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, high plank. Exhale, press back, hips high, downward facing dog. So remember, you always have options. Feel free to give yourself as much adaptation as you need. Check in with heat, vitality. On your inhale, left leg rises high to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale, take your time, step your foot through in between your hands. Lower your back knee down to the ground with your exhale. Inhale, side body lengthening, rise up. Knee down, lunge. Exhale, hands fold down to heart center. Inhale to lift, arms back up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward, frame your front foot. Left hand roots, or right hand roots rather, elevate your back knee with the inhale, spin, twist your knee, twist your ribs rather. Left arm to the sky, deep breaths. One more breath in. Exhale to lower, hand down to the earth, step back, high plank pose. Again, reset your breath. Deep inhale first. Knees can support, or exhale, lower your elbows no more than 90 degrees. Low push-up, pause. 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, high plank. Exhale, press back, downward facing and dog pose. Deep breath in. With your exhale, bend your knees, step up, or a very gentle skip to the front edge of your mat, forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back behind, pause here, inner leg strong for chair pose. Inhale, sweep the arms. With the exhale, hands fold to your heart space. Beautiful place to stay and build heat if you're wanting a little bit more activation. Start to lift your heels off the ground. It can start as a tap dance, heels lift and lower. Or you can come right into sustaining the chair pose. If your heels are lifted, root them back down to the ground. Inhale to rise, lift up, arms to the sky. With your exhalation, grab your left hand to your right wrist. Start to arc over to the left side. Little gentle tug. Inhale back through center. Exhale, opposite side. Left hand wraps to right wrist. Arc. Inhale back through middle. Palms flatten. Exhale, hinge, fold forward, forward bend. Inhale to elongate, partway rise. Exhale, fold back down to the ground. Hands touch down. Step back, high plank pose. Deep full breath. Exhale, once again, lower to low push-up. Hover, 3, 2, One, this time exhale, release all the way down onto your belly here. Gradually extend your right arm straight out in front. Chin stays at neutral. With the top of your right foot anchored, inhale to lift. Left leg about a few inches off of the ground. Doesn't need to be super high. From there, layer on. With the next inhale, sweep your right arm up towards the sky. Start to lift head, torso. One more inhale. Exhale to land. Plant your right hand by the side of your breastbone. Extend left arm out in front. Top of the left foot anchors. Inhale to lift. Right leg off of the ground just a bit. From there, start to layer. With an in-breath, extend left arm out in front. Head lifts, torso lifts just a bit. Focus on length. And again, check in where can you soften even as you activate in this one leg, one arm locust pose. One more inhale. Exhale to lower back down. Take a deep breath in. Optional open mouth, a little sound, sigh. Curl your toes under, hands strong. Again, tabletop position or lift your knees. Inhale, straight up, reverse plank pose. Exhale, press back, hips high, downward facing dog pose. And with your inhale, extend your right leg up to the sky, three-legged down dog. Exhale, knee to nose or knee towards nose, round in one cycle. Inhale to extend the leg up to the sky. With your exhalation, step your right foot through in between your hands. Take your time to arrive there. Back heel high, inhale to lift. Hips forward, arms to the sky for crescent lunge. If back heel high is too intense for you or just doesn't work in your body, flatten your back foot down for warrior one leg. Take your time. Deep breath in. With the exhalation, spin your back foot down, open your waistline wide, warrior two stance. Back foot can always go out wider for hip support, shoulders relax. Feel free to look out in front if the neck allows. And keep the inner legs active, the adductors firing in towards each other. One more breath in. With an exhale, back hand dips down, top arm up and over, reverse or dancing warrior pose. Deep breath in. Exhale, lean forward, forearm to front thigh. Left arm up and over or up to the sky or up and over your head for lateral angle pose. Lots of length from back heel all the way to top fingertips. And check in with your mind, your attention. If you're somewhere else with your thoughts, opportunity to lovingly nudge them back to this moment of body, sensation, breath. Inhale to lift your torso back up, warrior two. With exhale, windmill the hands all the way down to the earth. Spin your back heel high, left hand plants. Inhale to again twist, open. As you exhale, stay a few moments here. Gentle rotation of your spine. One more inhale. Exhale, lower your hand down to the earth. Step back, high plank pose. Listen carefully here. Feet come together. Take a breath in high plank. With your exhale this time, fire up through your right fingertips. Spin your whole weight over to the right. Side plank pose. Left hand comes to your hip to begin. This is too intense. Step your left foot forward. Give yourself more support. Center of the body stays level. Remain there or layer on. Left arm to the sky. Deep breathing. One more inhale. Exhale to lower hand down to the earth. Press back. Downward facing dog pose. Can always lower knees to the ground for child's pose or puppy stretch instead of down dog. Take 2 more rounds of breath here to feel, to receive your movement thus far. With your inhalation, left leg rises to the sky. 3-legged down dog. Exhale to coil in towards your body. Inhale, leg extends high. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Take your time. In breath to rise up, torso and arms to the sky, crescent. Back heel can always spin down for a little bit more support. Send the breath through your ribs, expanding the torso. With exhale, back foot lowers. Open the arms, adjust through the center of your hips. Take a wider stance as you need. Warrior 2 pose. Inner leg strong, stretching out through the arms. With your next exhale, backhand dips, top arm up and over. Dancing or reverse warrior, breathe into the side of your left ribs. One more inhale. Exhale, lean forward, create lots of elongation through left fingertips, then lower forearm to front thigh. Either right arm to the sky or up and over. Focus on buoyancy here at the left side of your body, lots of length. Inhale to rise back up through warrior 2 pose. With your exhale, windmill the hands all the way down to the earth, right heel high, right hand plants. In breath to spin, twist, rotate, arm to the sky. Focus more on rotation of your ribs. So the arms are really an accessory. If you're feeling any tension with the shoulders, adjust the angle of your left arm. Deep breath here. Exhale to lower your hand down. Step back, high plank pose. Take a moment, reset. Little scoop in the tail to tone your low belly. Inhale, breath. With the exhalation, shift your weight, everything to the left side. Fingertips active. Stack your feet or step the right foot forward. Right hand to your hip. Center of the body, super level, deep breaths. Option to play with any other posture variations. One more inhale. Exhale to return. High plank pose, top of a push-up. Use your in-breath, shift back, downward facing. Dog pose. Take 3 rounds of cleansing breaths. Down dog, child's pose, puppy stretch. Take a moment to reconnect, to notice if there's somewhere where you've overly tensed up in your body through some of these postures. What happens when you direct those muscle tissues to relax a little bit? From your down dog or child's pose, rejoin in down dog. And use your inhalation to lift your right leg up to the sky. Exhale to coil in, knee to nose. Inhale, leg high to the sky. Exhale, step forward. Take your time. With the breath, rise up through crescent lunge. Exhale, spin your back foot, warrior two. Inhale, backhand slides, top arm up and over, reverse warrior. Exhale again, lean forward, forearm to front thigh, side body stretch. Inhale to rise through warrior two. Exhale, windmill the hands all the way down to the earth. Use your in-breath to spin and twist to the right side. Exhale, lower your hand down. Step back, high plank pose. Take your breath. With the exhale, side plank pose to the right. Arm expands. Deep breath here. Exhale, hand down, high plank, lower all the way, low push-up. Again, pause, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, high plank. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog pose. Inhale, left leg rises to the sky, moving with your breath. Exhale, coil knee towards nose. Inhale, leg high. Exhale, step your foot through in between your hands. Inhale to rise up through crescent lunge. Exhale, spin, back foot, warrior two. Inhale, backhand dips, top arm up and over. Exhale, lean forward, lengthen, forearm to thigh. Inhale to breathe the stretch lateral angle. Next, inhale, rise back up, warrior two. Exhale, spin, hands down to the ground, plant your right hand down. Inhale to rotate, twist, open. Exhale, hand lowers to the ground, step back, high plank pose, reset up your strength. With the inhale, rotate everything to the left side, side plank pose. One more breath here. Exhale, hand lowers to the ground, descend low, push up, elbows no more than 90 degrees. Pause for 3, 2, 1. Inhale, back up, reverse plank. Exhale to press back, downward facing dog pose. Take a moment. Full connected breath in. And with your exhalation, bend your knees, step up, or a very gentle hop, skip to the front edge of your mat, forward fold. Inhale to lift and lengthen halfway up. Exhale, bend your knees, shift the weight back. Inner leg strong for chair pose. Inhale, arms rise. Exhale, hands to your heart. On your inhale, shift the weight into your left foot, gaze down to the earth for a little bit of balance. Gradually inhale to rise up. Right knee floats towards hip height. With your exhalation, take your right foot behind your left. Land here. Inhale to rise, arms to the sky. With the exhale, left hand wraps the right wrist. Start to lean over to the left side. Inhale back up through center. With the exhalation, draw your feet back to center. Inhale, circle sweep the arms to the sky. Exhale, hinge and fold, forward bend. In breath to lengthen, part way rise. With out breath, bend your knees, shift the weight back, inner leg strong, chair. Inhale, arms rise. With exhale, hands to heart. Gaze down to the earth, shift the weight to your right foot. With inhale, rise straight up to balance, left knee towards hip height. Exhale, lower your foot, wrap left behind right. Land down, inhale to elongate, arms to the sky. Wrap your right wrist to your left, left hand to your right hand to your left wrist. Slowly arc to the right side. In breath to lift back up through center, reassert your foot towards center space. Exhale, hinge, fold forward, swan dive your arms down toward the ground, forward fold. In breath to elongate halfway up. With exhalation, fold back down to the ground, step back right into high plank pose, top of a push-up. Deep full breath in. Remember, knees are always an option here for less fire. With your exhale, again, lower to low push-up, pause, everything hugs to center. This time for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, lower all the way down to the ground. Take a moment, chin at center or head to one side. Pause. Reconnect to a place where you can still engage, but also create some softness in your practice. And from there, with the head still at center, bring your left hand by the side of your heart space, right arm out in front, top of the right foot. Again, anchors down. Inhale to lift, left leg a little bit off the ground. Doesn't have to be super high. From there, option to layer on. Your right arm again rises. Torso, head, mindful to not over crank the neck here. Breath in. Exhale to lower back down, switch. Right hand by the side of the breastbone, left arm long. Top of the left foot anchors to activate your back leg in breath. Right leg lifts, left arm follows torso, head. Inhale. Exhale to lower back down. Again, either chin, pause at the center, head to opposite side. Take a moment, rest here. From this place, bring your arms by the side of your body here, about a 35-degree angle. Scoop the tail, start to squeeze in your glutes. With the inhalation, lift both your legs off of the ground. Torso rises, crown presses forward for locust pose. Stay right there or elevate the arms to the side of your body here like wings. Deep breathing. With exhale, land all the way back down to the ground. Take a moment, pause. Know that you can always stay in the pause to rejuvenate if you're looking for a little bit more fire. One more cycle here. Activate through the center body. With the inhale, once again, legs, torso, arms lift. Option to stay right there, or bring the palms to the back of your head, armpits buoyant to the sky, elbows press out. Stay with your own breath. You can release the pose earlier than I guide. Mindful of tension where you can use soften even as you stay super active here. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, release all the way down to the earth. Noticing any reverberation, pause, receive. And from there, replant the hands by the side of your heart space. In your own rhythm, make your way to downward facing dog pose. Down dog, stabilizing here through the low spine for a few cycles of breath. With your exhalation, lower your knees down to the ground for tabletop position. Gently here, take your right knee behind your left knee. Open the legs out to the right and left and start to sink back. Super mindful of your knees, sitting bones come to the ground. If this is really not working for you in your body, extend your bottom leg, the right leg out, left knee will be over. So that will create some freedom for both of the sitting bones to root down to the ground. If your hips are a little bit tighter and they're forward top knee, left knee is lifted, simply fill in the space with a block or a blanket cushion here. Cow face pose. Keep the soles of the feet engaged. You can stay right here. You might be getting enough activation for your hips, glutes. If you need a little bit more, use an inhale. Lengthen both sitting bones, anchor to the ground, elongate. With the exhale, option to explore, little lean forward to notice if that intensifies your experience or what other sensations arise here. If you're needing a little bit more, start to explore forearms on the ground, and finding the place that's a sweet spot here for the stretch. Deep breathing. And check in with your mental attention, especially in these slower postures. Opportunity to stay curious, to continue to observe what's going on in the space of your posture. How is it unfolding? Where are tensions releasing? Use your inhaling breath to gradually rise back up, torso long. With the hands back behind supporting you, take a moment to extend your legs out in front, stretch the toes forward. And from here, explore the opposite side. Left leg long onto the earth, right knee comes up and over. And then check in if this side allows for the knee to be bent. If you're bending and your right sitting bone is way off the ground, better off to re-extend the leg and anchor both of the sits bones down. Inhale to lengthen. Again, this might be enough if you're craving a little bit more or your body is allowing for that. Explore, starting to hinge forward to your own degree here. Acknowledging that this side might need something completely different than the other side. Celebrating the diversity of your own body. And soften any tension through your mouth, your jaw. Staying with sensation, with opening in the pose. 2 more rounds of deep breathing. Use an inhale to gradually rise back up through center space. Extend both of your legs out in front. This time, take the hands back behind you, fingertips rotate towards your sitting bones. The angle can vary depending on your wrist here. Seal the feet together, fire up through your toes. With inhale, anchor into your heels, activate through your fingers and palms. Slowly lift, incline plane pose, chin at neutral. If your center body is sinking and this is really uncomfortable, bend your knees and take a reverse tabletop instead. One more full breath. Exhale to lower all the way back down to the ground. If you have any props that you need, added layers for support, take them towards the back edge of your mat or somewhere where you can reach them with your arms. Inhale to lengthen here. With exhale, start to lean back. If the low back is tender, bend your knees to help it out. Slowly curl all the way down onto your mat. With an inhalation, bring your knees in towards center space. Open the knees to the right and left, feet to the sky, hands come onto your calves, ankles, only feet if the low back and sacrum can stay grounded on the floor. And from there, if you need more in the stretch, create just a little tug down through your legs. At the same time, feet press slightly to the sky and a little resistance. You'll probably feel some sensation in your inner groin here for happy baby pose. Stay with the breath. And you can stay static, or if it feels soothing for your spinal column, feel free to add a little rock right to left. And as you continue to be in this pose and be with your breath, start to listen to your own inner wisdom for the next several minutes. Take this opportunity to close out your practice. What is it that you need to create that sense of receptivity, of openness in your own life? Just listening to what you need, any other movements, any other postures that are calling you. If you find that what you're craving most is added time to rest, give yourself that and extend your body long for the final pose. We'll take another 10 rounds of slow cycles of breath inhales and exhales to explore your own flow, taking your time. And if you're still in your own exploration, take your time, start to transition into the final posture and join us there when you arrive and settle. If you are already in the final pose, make sure that you're cozy and comfortable. Make any adjustments, layers, cover your eyes with any props that you need. Space out your limbs so there's an easefulness. And from there, allow the whole body to be held. Check in with the soles of your feet, the toes, letting go of any remaining holding there. Soften your calves and shins, hamstrings and quadriceps. Letting go. And relax through your sitting bones, glutes, hips, and abdominals. Allow your ribs and arms, shoulders to be at ease. And soften through your neck, your mouth, and jaw. Cheekbones, temples, the eyelids. Let go of any unnecessary tension. And full permission to simply be here and receive your practice. I'll guide you out in a few minutes. And very gently become more aware of your body and your space. Know that if you're needing some added time to rest, you can stay right here. Otherwise, with a soft breath in, allow for little waking motions as you connect the fingers for a little bit of movement. Rotate your ankles, your wrists. Any other motions here, head and neck, or stretch of your shoulders. And with a soft and gentle inhale, hug your knees to center. Roll over to the left side in a fetal position. The left representing the receptive, soft energies of life. And from this place of gratitude for your whole being, find a comfortable way to lift back up and take a seat with your spinal column long. Feel free to use any props here to help if the low back rounds. Keep your eyes soft, heavy. And once you've settled into your seat, palms connect in front of your heart space. Take a moment here to observe anything that has shifted for you through your time of movement, breath, attention, connection. And to acknowledge yourself for carving out this time, showing up, to affirm each other's company in the virtual space, and to celebrate this ability that we each have to become aware when we've started to become too contracted, too armored, to open, to soften. To that place, gently bow your head to your own heart, celebrating your wisdom, your strength, your dedication. Namaste.